What if I told you there's a job with guaranteed stability, housing included, and you'll never get fired? Sounds great, right? Yeah. There's a catch.
No.
Welcome to Raccoon Explains. Today we're talking about the one medieval profession where you literally can't quit. And I know that because, well, let's just say I've got experience. It was 4 a.m. and I was in the basement with my 13-year-old son. He's looking at me with that face like, please tell me this is a nightmare. I know that face. I made that face 40 years ago. Hold the pliers like this, I say, showing him the tool. My hands shake, not from nerves. It's just that after 4 decades of doing this, your nerves stop working right. It's like typing, you know? Repetitive strain injury. Except instead of typing, you're breaking bones. My son asks if he has to do this, and I laugh. Not because it's funny, but because it's the only answer I have. Let me explain something about this line of work. You don't apply to be a torturer. There's no medieval LinkedIn posting for confession extraction specialist. You're born into it. Literally. It's like those families that run a funeral home for generations. Except instead of caring for the dead, you speed up the process. I was 8 when my father sat me down for the interview. He didn't ask, "Son, what do you want to be when you grow up?" He just said, "Let me show you your future." He took me to the basement. And look, I already knew my dad did something wrong. Like when your dad sells cigarettes and you know it kills people. But hey, it's his job, right? Multiply that by 1,000. He opened the door. The smell hit me like a punch. You know that metallic smell? Blood? Now imagine it mixed with sweat, urine, feces, and something like rotting meat. It's the smell of human despair, and it never, ever comes out of your clothes. You know when you work at a call center, and after dealing with 50 angry customers, you start questioning your life choices? Now imagine that instead of hearing complaints, you're causing them with pliers. My father laid out the perks of the job. You'll never get fired. True. Because nobody else wants to do this. You get guaranteed housing. Yep, in a house no one will walk past for fear of being cursed. You don't pay taxes. Neat. Because the price you pay is waking up screaming at 3 a.m. every day for the next 40 years. People respect you. Sure, the same way you respect a rabid dog. With fear and distance. I remember thinking, but what if I don't want to? My dad laughed. Not the, oh, you kind of laugh. More like, son, I asked that once too. When I turned 12, I handled my first client. A guy who stole bread. Or maybe he didn't. Honestly, it didn't matter. My job wasn't to find the truth. It was to make him say the truth they wanted to hear. You know those customer satisfaction surveys? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you steal that bread? Except instead of leaving a 1-star Google review, the guy's getting his fingers broken until he gives it a 10. My father stood next to me the whole session, not to teach technique. We'd practice that on dead pigs. He stayed to make sure I wouldn't faint, or puke, or freak out. I did all 3 afterwards, and the worst part? The guy confessed, said he stole it, said where he hid it, made up accomplices that didn't even exist. All lies, just to make the pain stop. That night I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling thinking, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. It's like finding out at 12 that you'll be stuck at the same toxic job until you die. No notice, no unemployment, no LinkedIn to search for new opportunities. You've heard of PTSD, right? Soldiers come back from war with it. Now imagine having PTSD, but you can't stop causing the trauma every single day. By 18, I'd developed what they now call defense mechanisms. Back then, I just knew something was very wrong with me. I started seeing people as objects, not because I wanted to, but because if I thought of them as people, with families, dreams, fears, I wouldn't be able to do the job. And if I didn't do the job, I'd be the next one on the table. It's like working in a slaughterhouse. You can't think of the cows as animals with personalities. You have to shut that part of your brain off. Except the human brain isn't built to flip on and off like that. Eventually it breaks. I hit 25, 10 years on the job. I was good. People confessed in minutes. They brought in a woman. A witch, they said. The neighbor's cow died and someone had to take the blame. I started the routine. Show the tools. Explain what each one does. Fear does the work for me, but she looked at me and said, "Do you believe I'm a witch?" No one had ever asked me anything. They beg, they cry, they scream, but no one had ever stopped to ask me a direct question. I froze. No answer. She kept going, because if I were a real witch, do you think I'd be here? I'd curse you, make you feel a fraction of what you make me feel, and you know what? I wished she were a real witch. I wished she could curse me, because at least then my suffering would have a reason, a purpose. But she wasn't a witch, just an unlucky woman. She was burned 3 days later. That night, I drank until I blacked out. And I kept doing that every day for the next 15 years. You want the funny part? I had better medical knowledge than any surgeon in town. I knew exactly where to cut without killing, where to press without causing permanent damage, how to treat wounds. Once, a village kid fell and broke his arm. His parents came to my door. Desperate, they knew I could help. I set the boy's arm perfectly, didn't charge a thing. You know what happened? The parents grabbed him and ran, like I'd contaminate him just by touching him. 2 days later, I found rotten food on my doorstep with a note. Keep your filthy hands away from pure children. It's like being a great chef, but no one will eat your food because you work at the dump. Doesn't matter how much you wash your hands, all they see is trash. When I was 35, I woke up screaming at 3 a.m. Another normal day. I washed my face, looked in the mirror. But that day, I didn't recognize the guy staring back. There was something dead in his eyes, like those photos of soldiers after a war. That empty look. Someone who's seen too much and feels too little. I couldn't remember how to smile naturally. When I tried, it looked forced, fake, creepy. Couldn't remember the last full night's sleep. Couldn't remember the last conversation I had where the other person wasn't afraid of me. I'd become exactly the monster people thought I was. By 40, my hands started to shake. I couldn't work with precision anymore. I had 2 options: retire and starve. Torturers don't get pensions. Or train a successor. I looked at my 2 sons, and I chose the older one. And that's why I'm here at 4 a.m., teaching my son a trade that destroyed my mind, my soul, and everything I could have been. He asks me, "Dad, how do you cope?" I answer honestly, I don't. I just survive, one day at a time, until the day I don't anymore. So, still interested in the position? Guaranteed stability, housing included, 0 chance of getting fired, and all it'll cost you is your sanity, your humanity, your sleep, any chance at a normal relationship, and the certainty that your kids will inherit the same hell. But hey, at least you won't need to update your resume. And if you're thinking your job sucks because your boss is toxic or you work Sundays, at least you can quit. Me? I've been at the same job for 40 years, and my son just signed his contract. No notice, no choice, no way out. This was Raccoon Explains, proving burnout isn't a modern invention. Today you can go to therapy. In the Middle Ages, you just drink and hope you don't wake up tomorrow.